So anyway, I'm Beth Kukucka. I'm a photographer and filmmaker from Pittsburgh. And I appreciate being able to be here to speak here today. Corey is he's in control of the Monroeville Library, and he has whipped this into shape, let me tell you. So don't misbehave, because he will be here. We've all survived a pandemic, a global pandemic, no small thing. So Behind the Mask is a photography project about the pandemic, but it's more than a photography project, and it's more than a project about the pandemic. It's really a portrait of time when we were vulnerable and our hearts were open. It was when we were scared and we didn't know what was around the corner, and we felt so vulnerable. I was aware that the more time we had to spend apart, the more the mandates became, separate physically, the more we needed each other physically. So I wanted to kind of take advantage of that. I wasn't sure how to do that. As a photographer, I had the idea to take two pictures of a subject, one with the mask on and one with the mask off, and then fade between them so that you'd see the face being revealed. But I wanted to take it deeper than that. I just wasn't sure what to do. And then I was in a grocery store and I saw a family of 6, all wearing masks, from the father to the toddler. And I had 2 thoughts at the time. The first was that this was the new norm, at least for a while. And the second thought was that it was a concern I had for the youngest members of the family. Would they grow up not seeing our smiles and expressions, something that I was really aware that I'd taken for granted up to this point. I wondered if the toddler would know who we are, if she could see me smiling at her with her mask almost as big as her head. And then I thought, well, who are we really behind our masks? So I started asking people. I'd take 2 pictures of people randomly. I'd just drive around and stop at parks, see interesting people, and ask them if they'd participate in this project. I had one picture with the mask on, one picture with the mask off, faded between the 2, and I'd ask them who they were behind the mask. Got a variety of answers, as you can imagine. So I started locally in Pittsburgh neighborhoods just to see the diversity in the neighborhoods here. And then I wanted to go bigger. I wanted to take it cross country. My business had tanked because everything as a portrait and event photographer had scheduled and then canceled and scheduled again. So I had a lot of time on my hands. I had my camera, a lot of curiosity, and no money. So I put together a GoFundMe page. Some of you contributed to it, thank you. And I went cross country. I got enough money together to travel for about 3 weeks. When I ran out of money, I turned around and came back. But in that time, I found a man at the end of a dirt road in Oklahoma. I found a homeless veteran in Dallas who wanted us to know that he's proud to have served his country. I found an autistic bodybuilder in California, a can-can dancer in Colorado who was a cashier by day and a can-can dancer by night. And she was clear that she was the can-can dancer behind her mask. And I found a 6-year-old who wanted us to know that she likes cheeseburgers, her brother, and she likes to dance. One of my more memorable subjects was a man in Kansas. He was sitting outside a bar, smoking a cigarette. I need a drink for this. This is vodka. That's how bad this experience was. He was sitting outside a bar smoking a cigarette in Kansas, and I just thought the atmosphere was interesting, and he was interesting. So I asked him if he'd participate in this project. And he was quick to tell me just what he thought of masks and mandates and where Biden could put his mask. Yeah, I was surprised that he let me photograph him anyway, as long as he didn't have to wear a mask and as long as I quoted him directly, which you'll see in just a moment. Before I left, though, I asked him if anyone in the bar would be willing to be photographed, if he thought anyone would be willing. And he said, well, good luck with that. So I took my chances and walked into what was a hornet's nest of anti-vaxxers who were quick to tell me just what they thought of masks and mandates and where Biden could put his mask. So they practically threw me out. I'm not exaggerating. But as I was leaving, the man who had been smoking a cigarette came back in to finish his beer at the bar. And I thanked him again for participating. I gave him a lot of credit for letting me photograph him anyway. And he said, well, the only time I wear a mask is when I'm working. And I said, well, what do you do? And he said, I'm a firefighter. So I suddenly saw him differently. I saw him running into a burning building courageously, or comforting a family that just lost their home. And I just saw him differently. It opened my heart to him. So I thanked him for his service, And he said, "Don't forget to tell Biden what I think of him." And I said, "Is that before or after I tell him where to put his mask?" And fortunately for me, everyone in the bar laughed. But just before I left, I heard someone from the back of the bar say, "You drive safe, honey." And I think that's who we are behind our masks. With all our differences and diversity and beliefs, I think when it comes down to it, we really wish each other well and want each other to drive safe, honey. You know, we've all been through this pandemic. I mean, it really turned our worlds upside down. And I think that it brought us closer in a way. And so I took advantage of this time in our history when we needed each other and didn't know how to connect because we couldn't be near each other. You know, we had losses, we lost businesses, we lost money, our worlds were turned upside down, and we didn't have each other. So I thought I would make a project about it. So it's Behind the Mask is both a speaking presentation and a video presentation, which you'll see in just a minute. I want to say, though, if there are any technical glitches, I may be doing an interpretational dance on the history of the library, though, because the founding fathers, I play all the parts, so it's pretty impressive. So I'm proud to say that this year I also published a book on this project, Behind the Mask, a unique look at America behind its mask. There are QR codes on your seats, and online you can just find the information on my website at Beth K Photo. Before I show the video, I wanted to invite everyone to just kind of think about your own lives. Think about who you are behind your mask, the people who you know, who are they behind their masks. I also wanted to take a moment to recognize the healthcare angels, not just workers, the healthcare angels who held our loved ones' hands when we couldn't, and the nearly 7 million souls who died from this. Also the essential workers who kept the world going when everything else stopped. This project is dedicated to them. Okay, let me see if I have to do an interpretational dance now. Technology. Okay, here we go. Thank you. I don't know if I'm back online. Thank you, Corey. Thanks, Corey, for making that happen. He's a magician, a technical musician, a magician. Anyway, thank you. This was a life-changing experience for me. Let me just get out of this screen here. Hold on. There I go. Okay. Hi, everybody. Oh, hey, Jan, Jill Sorosky's on here. So this was a life-changing experience for me. Not only did I have to come out of my comfort zone and talk to strangers, but it gave me the opportunity to see myself in everyone. Kind of starting with the firefighter, made me realize that we're really not that different, and no one is really a stranger. I also got to be an objective and fair witness. With whatever my subjects shared with me. I didn't get into any conversations. I didn't confront anyone. I really just kind of wrote down what they said, didn't question their beliefs, even if I strongly disagreed with them. If they felt strongly about something, like the man who said I'm 1000% conservative Christian Republican, I'd just say, a lot of people feel that way. So thank you for your honesty. You represent a lot of people. And he did. He represented a lot of people. And so it helped me since then to be kind of a fair witness to people, not a judge or juror, just a respectful, fair witness, even if I feel differently than someone. So that's why I say this is more than a pandemic project or a project about photography. I found that most people on my cross-country trip were enthusiastic about participating. I think we were hungry for each other, or hungry to tell our stories, or hungry to answer a personal question, such as, who are you behind your mask, and what would you like to share with us? A good example is Sophie, the woman who was behind the counter at, she was in Nashville. Her name was Sophie. She was behind the counter at the Conway Twitty Museum, I think. And I just loved her look. I was just kind of wandering through Nashville, passing through. I went through small towns and big cities and turned left and right where I kind of felt drawn to. But I like to kind of stay off the beaten path, except for Nashville and Vegas. So I found Sophie in Nashville, and I asked her if she would participate. And she said, well, honey, I'd love to, but I have to ask my manager first. So she gets on the phone to her manager and hands the phone to me, and the manager wanted to know everything from my name to my website to my phone number to what I was going to do with the pictures to who I went to the prom with. I mean, I'm exaggerating just slightly. So she finally gave her okay, as long as I didn't use the pictures to promote their merchandise. So I handed the phone back to Sophie, and she was thrilled that the manager said yes. But this whole time she had been at the counter writing. She was just writing and writing and writing. And as soon as she got the okay, she handed me a piece of paper that was about that long. Details of her life. She wanted us to know that she's a mother and a grandmother. Her quote is, behind my mask, my heart is full. She's mother, grandmother. She was in the Army. She lived in Nashville her whole life. She married her husband in 1957. He died 5 years ago. I mean, she just told me her whole history. She wanted us to know who she is behind her mask. And then there was the man at the end of the dirt road in Oklahoma, the guy who said, I'm 1000% conservative Christian Republican. That was really the only time I was a little concerned about my safety. He wasn't threatening, but he was very tall and intimidating. And he came, I was always respectful as I approached people. I'd approach them slowly and tell them what I was doing and ask them if they'd participate. And he came right up to me, like right, practically nose to nose, and he said real slow, well, who are you behind your mask? And I thought of calling you, Jan, and saying, I don't know, what am I doing here? but I just thought, okay, think quick. And I said, well, actually, I'm somebody that thinks that we should sing Kumbaya and hold hands, but that's probably not going to happen, is it? And he said, no, it's not. So he let me photograph him, as long as I quoted him directly. And when I got in the car with my window down, safe, glad to be safe and on my way, I heard him yell, don't forget to say 1000%. And then there was Brian, the man in the middle of a field in Texas. I saw his shopping cart along the side of the road, and I was curious, so I slowly approached him. He just shook his head that I could take his picture. And when I asked him what he'd like us to know about him, he just said, I'm Brian. He didn't say, my friends call me Brian, or I'm Brian and I live in Texas. He just said, I'm Brian. I actually cried when I got in the car after that one. It was just, there was something about the simplicity of it that just really touched me. That's all he wanted us to know. But there was something about his name that just felt, I don't know, bigger than any other quote he could have given. At times it was hard to gather up a direct quote. Some people kind of ramble, and especially around that time, people felt all kinds of things, everything from I hate this to I'm scared to I miss my loved ones. So many people talked about gratitude and how they missed each other, how they missed hugging or just being in touch with each other, even if it was to shake a hand. I still have the notebook with the rambling because I kept a pen and a paper with me and just would write things down. And so the notebook says things like, nurse in the desert, or man in the field or a tall guy in Oklahoma who scared the crap out of me. And some quotes took me by surprise, like the UFO Museum in Roswell, New Mexico. That's not in the video, but it is in the book. There was a woman that was running the UFO Museum, and I thought she'd talk about aliens. I even kind of tried to steer her in that direction, like, oh, what do you think aliens would think of the pandemic? And instead she put her hand over her heart and said, I'm so very sorry for all the loss. I offer my condolences. I wanted to share an additional story about Kansas. I had to take another drink of the vodka here for this one. So that all happened, and I'm practically getting thrown out of the place. But just before I left, there were two people sitting in a booth. They're the ones that say our kids are all grown and gone, and it's just us again. Just before I left, the woman said, you can take our picture if you want. So I took their picture, and I loved what they said. I could just imagine their house full of noise, cranky babies and toddlers running all over the place and rebellious teenagers. And then here they were, just the two of them again, sitting in the booth. There were some funny moments, like the three women in Vegas. They were just a little bit tipsy. No, they were drunk. No, they were shit-faced. They were shit-faced. And they pretty much told me that they did whatever they had to do to leave the babies with the guys, pack their bags, get their boosters, and go gamble and get into some long overdue trouble. And they did, too. They invited me to go, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just passing through. So it made me realize that we're so much more connected than we are different. It made me connect with angry firefighters and tall men who scared me and autistic bodybuilders. And it opened my heart to all of them. It gave me the chance to look at our similarities more than our differences and to be a fair witness to it all. While I may not love guns, I love my family, so we can meet there. And while I may not be 1,000% conservative Christian Republican, I know a lot of people who are, and I love them dearly, and we can meet there. I know a lot of people who are who feel strongly about masks and mandates. I still see them at family reunions, would still do anything for the other in a heartbeat, and we can meet there. I may not know what it's like to be an autistic teen who stutters or an ex-gang member saved by the blood of Christ, but I know what it's like to be vulnerable, and we can meet there. So while we have different lives and diverse beliefs, we know what it's like to be human, especially through the pandemic. We were scared, and I think we're still in some ways picking the shrapnel out of that experience. We were eager to get back to a new normal, and we are, but man, that was scary, wasn't it? So with all the uncertainty and fear that we shared together during that time, I think that we are each other behind our masks. I think we're really not that different. The things that mean the most to us mean the most to pretty much everyone. Love, family, even with our beliefs and differences. I think that we're all made from the same cookie dough. I kind of like to think of it that way, that we're each other behind the mask. So I thought on that note, I would end with a short film that I created that I call Who Are You Behind Your Mask? And I wanted to say that you can find more of my films on my YouTube channel at Moving Word Films. You can find all this online. I create short films that have kind of feel-good messages like someone's thinking of you, and are you afraid, and do you think you matter? So I want to thank you all again for being here. Corey, I bow to you. Thank you so much.
Great. I just wanted to make sure that I could share the screen again once you had the video.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. So I'm going to show this film now, and then I'll take any questions anybody has. So what do I do now?
Just start up your video and pause it.
Start up my video, okay. Oh, I have to get my glasses for this. All right, here we go. People that know me can totally appreciate this. So we go here.
Yeah.
Yep. Hold on 1 second here. Thanks for your patience, everybody. I'm not sure how to get there, Corey. Let's see.
I think if you go to the Files button.
Files right here. Right there?
Should be, yes.
You're going to own the company. You're going to own this library someday, Corey. You're going to own the
I'll
library.
tell my boss that.
Okay, here we go. All right, we good?
I would say pause it for 1 second.
Sorry?
No, I don't think it's even started yet. Let me just go back to Zoom and
Okay.
make sure that we're sharing. And is that is the name of that one? Oh, it's Behind Our Mask, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks, Corey.
No problem.
Do you wonder who I am behind my mask? I'm the person sitting next to you right now, with all my thoughts and wanderings, all my concerns and worries. I'm the person who smiled at you in the store yesterday, and I'm the one who said hello to you at the exact moment you needed to be seen. I'm the person who's thinking of you right now, wondering how you are and hoping you feel better today. I'm the grandmother who loves her grandchildren, and I'm the grandfather who lost his wife, hardly able to imagine my life without her. I'm the addict who longs for peace of mind, wishing I could be free of my inner chaos for just a moment. I'm the angry coworker who wishes I could feel better about myself so maybe I wouldn't be so angry, and I'm the one who makes you smile and laugh, making the day better just by being there. I'm the person in love, and I'm the one who wants to be alone. I'm the child who longs for winter to pass so I can play again in the sunshine of sweet summer days. I'm the lonely neighbor who walks my dog every morning, every afternoon and evening, grateful for them, grateful to have something to do that day. I'm the woman who cut you off in traffic today because I had nowhere to go. I'm the love of your life, the one who got away, and I'm the ex you wish you had never met. I'm the wealthy friend you envy, who so wishes they had just some of your kindness. I'm the relative who laughs easily with you but feels sad when the door closes, not knowing how to ask for your help. I'm the man who wishes he had someone to share his life with, and I'm the woman who wishes the same. I'm the child that doesn't know who they are or if they're loved, and I'm the child who's adored and loved beyond measure, certain that I am. I'm the teenager who's a victim to my own thoughts. I'm the one who's glad to be here, happy in the life I'm experiencing. I'm the person who believes in God, and I'm the one who is certain that God doesn't exist. I'm the friend who welcomes you as you are, and I'm the one who demands more of you, never satisfied with what you have to offer, because I'm not satisfied with myself. I'm the woman who can't sleep at night because I'm never sure that I'm enough. And I'm the man who needs comfort and reassurance, but I have no idea how to ask for it. I'm the sister who is grateful for my family. I'm the brother who misses his. I'm the student who worries about my future, and I'm the one who doesn't give it a thought because I trust that life will unfold as it unfolds. I'm the worker who never makes enough money, and I'm the artist who is always creating, finding payment in the creation itself. I'm the sick relative who needs your prayers, and I'm the one praying for you. I'm the stranger who makes you uncomfortable, and I'm the one you feel you've always known. I'm the friend who makes you laugh so hard you forget the time, and I'm the one who needs you to help her to laugh. I'm the musician who sings to your heart, and I'm the teacher who guides you. I'm also the one who needs to be guided. I'm the motherless child always looking for arms to hold, and I'm the one holding. I'm the beloved who argued with you this morning, and I'm the one who will sleep next to you tonight and every night. I'm the person who makes you happy, and I'm the one who makes you miserable. I'm the person you love, and I'm the person who loves you. Most of all, I'm the person you see in the mirror, with all of your humanness and desire, all of the same longings and gratitude. Behind the mask, I am you, and behind your mask, you are me. Oh, no, did I get them out of here? Glory. Yeah, that should have been, I should have done that. Oh, we're still on? Corey, we're good.
Yeah, absolutely. We can hear you loud and clear. Let me know when you want to open things up to questions.
So anybody want to tell me who they are behind the mask? I know I put people on the spot when well, you know who I am. But you know, it changes by the day sometimes. I'm always curious, though. That's pretty consistent. Some days I'm scared behind my mask, and some days I'm lazy behind my mask, but I'm always curious.
Behind my mask, I'm somebody who's very well-meaning, but has little eyes, and when a mask covers me, you can't tell anything about what I'm thinking, because my eyes are too small. I mean, that's something. And so I had to find ways to express myself, or show that I cared, or show that I was earnest or sincere. And I found that very hard to convey. A well-meaning person who can't seem to convey it behind a mask, that was me.
Someone in the audience was saying that they felt by wearing a mask they're a well-meaning person, an expressive person, but they have really small eyes. She's my sister. We have the same eyes. I don't know. Blame Dad. I don't know. But that when she was wearing a mask, she felt she had to kind of exaggerate so that people could read her expressions a little bit better. I think a lot of people felt that way. I found myself like really smiling when I'm back to just kind of my regular smile. Anybody else? Chris?
I've been thinking about this since I first saw your exhibit. And what I've thought about is, as I age, I'm trying all the time to become more and more authentic. So actually, behind my mask, on my good days, I'm exactly what you see. I am as authentic
It's
as
so
I can be
interesting.
that day.
Wow, I don't even know if I can convey that to the. She was saying that that the older you get, the more you feel you want to be your more authentic self behind your mask, and that you've been thinking about this for a while. You were at my exhibit in October a few months ago. Yeah, I always get different answers, and again, just this cross-country trip really helped me to just kind of hold space for people's answers and quotes and beliefs and all kinds of stuff. What's happening? Corey, if anyone would like to ask any questions, sorry. Oh, this is gonna, you know what, this is me and technology.
Click on
Why am I?
chat.
Sorry about that, Beth.
Okay, chat.
Yeah, anybody can, when you ask for more questions, people can unmute and ask them,
Yeah.
or they can.
Okay, so, I see. Okay. Okay, well, and unless somebody has questions, I wanted to talk a little bit more about my book, because there are some subjects that are in the book that aren't in the video. So let me just grab this. I wanted to mention that the woman who said, after I retired, after 40 years of, I forget exactly what her quote is, but that she found her smile behind her mask. She was a nurse that was living in the middle of the Mojave Desert. She was a nurse for 40 years and was so devastated by what she saw in the hospitals and through the pandemic that she just retired, moved to the middle of the Mojave Desert. What am I doing there? Seeing who they are behind the mask. And her quote is, let me find her real quick here.
She found her smile behind her.
Yeah, the book tends to share a little bit more of the quote. She says, it's this one. Says, behind my mask, I've been a nurse for 40 years. When COVID hit, I was so overwhelmed, I retired and moved to the desert. When I finally felt safe to take off my mask, I found my smile behind it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that one really touched me. Here's the one from the Roswell Museum. She put her hand over her heart. Her quote is, behind my mask, I'm sad for everyone who had to die alone with COVID. I'm so very sorry. I offer my condolences. I was really hoping she'd talk about aliens. Like, what did they think of COVID? I mean, all right.
Somebody has a comment.
Sure. Oh, okay. So Jill says, behind my mask, I am peaceful. I am peaceful. I am peaceful. Isolation helps me to find my inner peace. Amen to that, especially these days when things are just, well, as I said, when we're finding a new normal. This is Sophie. So some of these are in the book that aren't in the video. Some were in the exhibit that aren't in either. I really just kind of picked the more interesting subjects or the ones that I thought were more diverse. I consider this project pretty much complete, but every now and then I'm still looking for a real diverse subject. If anyone is interested, you can get in touch with me through my website, Beth K Photo. Go to the Behind the Mask section. This is one I had a little trouble with. This was in Missouri. I was in a park. I'm sorry, I'm showing the people online too. I was in a park and I saw these two people sitting in the park bench, and his only quote is, behind her mask, she's my wife. I had a little trouble with that. This is where I had to really just stay objective. I kept kind of checking in with her to see if she was in any trouble. She wasn't. They were together for a long time. But that's all they wanted to say. Said, do you want to elaborate it? No, behind her mask, she's my wife. Okay. I just got back in my car real quick.
Yeah.
The Trump supporters. This was a friend of a friend, actually a friend's brothers, and they agreed to, because I had been looking for something that diverse, and I was having a hard time finding someone that was like a Trump supporter. But they were happy to do it. And again, I don't love guns, but I love my family. So we can meet there.
I thought it was interesting that he went out of his way to go get the gun for his.
Oh, yeah.
For his second picture. I don't see it in the first one.
Yeah, no,
Then in
I
the
asked him.
second one, there it is, front and center.
Yeah. Someone was saying that they didn't see the gun in the first picture. Yeah, things like that. Like, I wanted people to hold very still so that the transition could be pretty flawless. I didn't want there to be a lot of movement. But with them, I said, oh, just put down the guns and put down the flag. And then I actually had an assistant for that one, so that for the second shot, the flag went up and the guns went. Yeah, I wanted them to be just, who are they behind the mask? And then the transition to who they were.
I love the transition that you had for the girl that talks about her depression.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
The picture
Gets very dark.
and she drops a face.
Yeah.
It was a surprising transition.
Good,
Really
good.
effective, I thought.
Yeah, well, I've suffered from depression myself, and I know that's what it's like. Someone was commenting about the picture of the person that was depressed behind her mask. The transition was very dramatic. Yeah, there were some things that post editing I kind of elaborated, but basically for instance, the woman who's the EMS flight nurse. Wow.
She's my favorite.
Yeah, I was on a Pittsburgh Today show, I think, and so I got people that were interested in contacting me, and she was one of them. She said, I'm a flight nurse, and if you can meet me where I work, which was an airport, I was like, oh yeah, sure. I didn't know this should turn into like Superwoman, but for that, what she did was she began with everything on, and then slowly just kind of took things off. Yeah, just kind of dropped her. So that's how I would do things like that. I didn't want to change them too much, but some things. I'll show you an example in the book. This isn't in the video because it's too elaborate. John, I'll show you in just a second. This is the one from the book. In the second picture, trees are growing out of his background because his quote is, "Behind my mask, I'm a retired biochemist. In my spare time, I restore things, old cars, houses, nature. I guess you could say I restore the chemistry of time." I loved his quote, but it felt a little too long for the show. But the transition is incredible. I mean, it's just like he goes from standing behind a desk to the desk turns into trees and buildings and all the things that he likes to restore. Trying to think I loved The Young Lovers, The Young Love.
Yeah.
We've never felt this way before. Oh, I hope you're still together. If you're not, it's okay. The ex-gang member, he was especially vulnerable. I would have never expected him to give the answer he gave. He was in St. Louis, and I just went up to him. I thought he was interesting looking. Asked him who he was. "Behind my mask, I'm an ex-gang member saved by the blood of Christ." Wow. So people were especially vulnerable. I think they just, I don't know, we collectively were in a place where we were a little more open with each other. And what did any of these people have to lose by sharing the information? As I said, many of them were just really enthusiastic about the opportunity to talk to someone.
I think it's neat in the book you have, beside that gang member on the opposite page, is the worker who takes tattoos off for gang members.
Yeah, they're commenting on the person that follows the gang member, the one who starts out with tattoos and then her face. Yeah, her name's Bridget. She's a friend of mine. She actually does this complimentary. She helps gang members and people transitioning. I mean, she's just incredibly generous. I'm trying to think of what her company is called. I'm sorry, Bridget. But yeah, I asked her if she'd participate. She started with just 1 or 2 tattoos, and then I just went online and found tattoos that I could Photoshop onto her face. Wow. Because she couldn't really wear all that and then take it off completely. Oh. So I superimposed all those tattoos on her. Yeah.
Oh, it's very skillful on your part.
Thank you. Any other questions? We good? Anybody online? Let's see. All right. Well,
I actually.
What do you think, Corey? Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. I was just curious when you began photography. I don't remember that coming up. Have you done it all your life, or
photography?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was. You know, they found film in the afterbirth. I mean, that's. I've been a photographer since I remember being in my playpen. At, what would I be, Jan 1, I guess?
You were a year and a half old.
I was a year and a half old, and I remember framing the slats in the playpen or in the crib, and just thinking, oh, that's interesting. Well, look how that changes. When I was old enough to steal my mother's camera, I did. That being 6 years old, she had a little Kodak Instamatic, and I would take it and just photograph people in town. I would tell them I was with Life magazine on assignment, little 6-year-old. And so she'd get the camera back in the film days, and she'd be like, I don't know any of these people, honey. What's Robert Sikolis doing on this roll of film? So, and then I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh and made a lot of friends and just had a lot of fun, but don't remember much about it. And then I just started my career, I'd say probably seriously around 25, when I was 25, 64, so it's been a long, lucrative career. Transitioning now, it's turning into something else. I'm doing more films. Again, my YouTube channel is Moving Word Films, and that's really where my passion is now. And I also do kind of promotional portrait photography, but it's not just photography, so it's kind of hard to explain. So yeah, I'm still still looking through a lens. Can't imagine not doing that. Although during the pandemic, I thought, what am I going to do? I mean, it's a little too late to learn piano tuning, I guess. But I mean, we were all in that position, you know. We didn't know what was around the corner, and everything we knew was changing. It was really hard, though, to you know, have things cancel. Everybody I mean, you know, all these weddings and stuff. People that booked things a year in advance. I felt so bad for my clients.
All right. If anybody has any other questions, they can feel free to ask them now. But otherwise, we'll thank Beth for her time and for this fantastic presentation.
Corey, thank you. Thank you, Monroeville Library. Thanks everybody that was watching online. And if you do want to know who I went to the prom with, it was Jerry Connolly. Thank you so much. Thanks, Corey. Thank you.
You guys.